Hello. This week's video, I really wanted to just talk about something that's been coming up a lot within the conversations I've been having with a lot of my friends, specifically those that are still seniors in school, and that is finding a job in a pandemic, as well as things I learned or wish I learned as I was applying, because I feel like this information is really useful. All right, anyways, to preface, I just wanted to set the context. I graduated in the year 2020 from UC Davis as a food science major. Honestly, I switched my major 3 years ago, thinking that I would, find a job really easily, because I was initially a totally different major. I was a neurobiology, physiology, and behavior major with aspirations of wanting to become a physical therapist. But instead, I wanted to work right out of graduation, or at least, find a job that was easy to find a job post-grad. So basically, food science is really good at Davis. A lot of the food companies here are aware of my degree, so yeah. And for a while, before the pandemic, it worked out. I had this internship post-grad in Colorado lined up for me. It was supposed to be working for plant-based foods, and that's exactly what I wanted to do, develop plant-based foods, because I was vegan. So, well, we all know how that went, and that got canceled. So yeah, pretty much it came at a time where there were literally no jobs, and I was trying to find jobs, but I was casually finding jobs and maybe applying as graduation was more nearing. But basically, I just remember there was absolutely nothing, and it was really hard, especially because I was just so caught up in finding a job, and literally everyone in your major is applying for the same job too. It was really daunting, and I absolutely hated it. It wasn't fun at all. And I did basically what everyone told me to do. I found a job post-grad in the pandemic, and no, it wasn't the best job, but what other options did I have at the moment? Yeah, I think that just brings me to my first point, that if you are a senior watching this video and you are literally also applying to jobs, I totally, go for it. Right now, January, February is probably the right time to find some jobs, and it's really easy to just go on LinkedIn and click your LinkedIn Easy Apply, but I'm 100% certain you will not get that job, because everyone else is just clicking that one button and it's an easy apply. So most likely what I found out is easy apply jobs are probably not the best jobs, but still, go for it. I still highly recommend, going on LinkedIn and messaging people straight up, or recruiters, and asking for those positions, because you never know what might come out of that. Granted, that's not how I went through my job search, because I remember I applied to 200 jobs and I only got 1 or 2 back. Again, at the time, it was at a time where there was no jobs lined up, and every company was still trying to figure out how to work from home. So we're very fortunate now in 2021 that people, or companies nowadays, have been able to understand the rigor and the complications with it, and they've actually done really well. If anything, I kind of working from home, but I'll get into that later. I definitely just recommend, if you're applying to your first job and there are no jobs, you're not hearing anything back, that's okay, because the LinkedIn method, those are your traditional methods, going to, fairs and career fairs, or just emailing people, and just those are your more, or what I know as the more traditional ways that most people get their jobs. But in my experience, if that didn't work for me. So if you're looking for an answer that is more realistic, I just got a job that I could find, because that's all that could happen, and that's okay, like I said, because that first job, while I did not stay in it for too long, opened so many doors for me. So if you are like, oh my gosh, it's July and like people already have internships, or like I don't have a job, like that's fine. Like I was of course pressured because coming from a low income family, like I never really been unemployed, so I just had to like find a job. Fortunately, the internship that I was like already working for continued my internship throughout the summer until I could find my first job, which was in August. So if you literally have no more options, like go for it, because after that first experience, getting your foot in the door is all that matters. Because I was one of the early ones that got their job, like maybe in the summer. For my friends that have waited, you know, till like 4 to 6 months after graduation, they got like the same good positions, and it just took waiting. So it really just depends on like the type of person you are. And I feel like if you have the luxury to, definitely just like wait it out. Like you never know what other opportunities, because we all know that if you're also applying in the summer, it's kind of hard because everyone already has their positions. But in the fall, when recruiting happens again, like definitely take advantage of those situations at hand. And I understand like the stress and the, I don't know, like comparing yourself to other people type of complex, because you know, you go through a lot of that, especially you want to see how other people are doing, engaging. And that was like one thing I just didn't really like about myself. I was like very career focused, and even though I was like a very you to you type of person, I was very critical at myself. And I feel like if someone told me like it was going to be okay later on, it would have been fine, nothing wrong. And like going back home, taking like a couple months to figure yourself out, you know, granted, like if you have the luxury to, because I definitely did not. I know I'm kind of like refuting my own advice, but it brings me to my second point. If people are telling you to stay at your job for at least 6 months to a year and you don't like it, don't take their advice. And I would say stayed at my first job longer than anticipated because I didn't want to break that rule. And yes, there is some truth to that, but like if it's really not working for you, as if like there's just something wrong in how the company like manages themselves or how they're treating you, go forward and find other opportunities. You know, it definitely came at like a really low point in, you know, my life, because post-grad is already like hard enough. If you just feel like it's not a right fit for you, there's nothing wrong in leaving it, because I feel like we have these societal expectations. In terms of like how I got like my current job, I honestly don't know how that happened either. If anything, I currently work at like I work in corporate right now in like this pretty big retail company in Northern California, and pretty much like I didn't even know I was applying to it because I applied through an agency. So you never know how these like opportunities come up. And I guess like I'm sorry if you were watching this video expecting like a like XYZ answer, because I feel like for a lot of my friends' experiences as well as mine, we literally all went through these very unorthodox like ways of getting our jobs, and in a sense of like we did not get them through applying to like this program or get connected through some like frat. So yeah, we just literally we're trying to figure out on our own. And I think that's the most important message of the day, is that like do not compare yourselves to other people, and don't be afraid of going and utilizing these like different methods, because you never know what's going to happen. And don't put so much expectations on yourself, because things will get better. It may not be right now, but definitely if you keep applying, you will get it. And I think for all my senior friends that are freaking out right now, please don't worry, you'll be fine. Take that from a senior who literally had no job opportunities lined up for him. Everything was canceled, and again at a time where there are now opportunities. Please just like take advantage of those opportunities and don't worry about it. You'll be fine. Just like some general tips, you know, from what I've seen when you are applying to jobs, on whether it be like ZipRecruiter, LinkedIn, as you're applying to jobs as well, you should treat applying to jobs like it's a job. You know, if people are allotting like 8 hours of their time to an actual job, like maybe you don't need to apply to jobs like all 8 hours, but definitely spend like 2 or 3 honing your cover letters, honing your resumes, practicing your interview skills. Yeah, that's just like another thing, because you can say you're applying to jobs, but if you are just applying casually and you're not really like actually finding a job like it's a job, it's going to be a little difficult for you to get any offers. Apply to as many as possible. And if recruiters are calling you saying that, hey, can I just like talk? Can we just talk? Get to know you, treat it like an interview, because you never know those initial phone calls, whether it may not, even if they say it's not a real interview, or it's just like, you treat it like an interview, because that is what's going to get you to that interview, if that makes sense. When you're applying to jobs, also remember to research the company. You know, the recruiters ask you like, what do you know about the company? You want to tell them exactly what you know about the company. So do your research beforehand. Make sure. I think what really helped me was just like Googling a bunch of like answers or like common interview questions. Each interview is like very different and very technical. Like, I think I'm going to link down below some of just a document that might be helpful for you, so I don't continue talking about it in this video. And basically that was my experience finding a job in a pandemic, so I wish the best for you. Yeah, I guess like if you have any questions, hit me up. Yeah, and I'll see you in a few.